Square Strike. I don't know if it's a chipper or a wedge, but we've got the Square Strike. You guys have probably seen commercials about it, and we took it, we were chipping, we were hitting some straight shots, and we've got a full review here for you today. So you're watching another US Golf TV club review. My name is Troy Klongerbo, and today, like I said, we've got the Square Strike. Now, when I first started out, I didn't even know whether to call this a wedge, or I would say it's more of like a super modified chipper like you see back in like the 1980s, 90s, like those chippers. That's really what this thing is. 45 degrees of loft. It's gonna match up to be pretty consistent with like a pitching wedge loft. It's got about as much mass in a club head as you'll find. I mean, it's got a big old green, lime green insert, matches the color of the grip, and it is designed specifically for people who want to not spend a ton of time around the greens chipping their ball, and they can get it up and on the putting surface in one shot. You'll notice when I first pulled this club out of the box, there was a couple things I immediately noticed. First of all, from just kind of the commercials and what I had seen online, I kind of expected it to be a little bit more of like a wedge. We've done reviews on both the XE1 and the C3i wedge, and I kind of expected this to be a little bit more like a wedge. Right away, I was like, nope, this is a chipper. I can totally tell. They've got kind of the anti-chunk blade here. You'll notice that the leading edge really isn't even a leading edge. It's like angled at 45 degrees and like totally shaved off to kind of help golfers. You're not going to be necessarily having any problems with chunking this thing. Also, there is so much weight spread between the toe and the heel of this club. This thing just screams balanced. It just wants to be balanced. And that's actually a good thing if you're someone that struggles with your chipping in general at all, because if you're just looking to get the ball up and on the green, you need as stable as a club face as possible through impact. You need that thing to be dead, rock solid, rock stable, and that's what this thing's gonna provide. So we hit some chip shots, obviously out of like a stock standard lie in the fairway. It performs just fine. It comes out low. I will warn you guys, if you're looking for a club that you can hit high, a club that has versatility, a club maybe you can hit out of a bunker or out of goofy lies, you're probably not going to see a ton of success with this. You're going to see that the club, I wouldn't even say you could clarify that as bounce. Like, it's got so much weight behind the club head, you can't do anything with this. You can't open it up. You can't, I mean, it calls for one shot. It calls for basically a bump and run type shot where you get the ball airborne, it just briefly checks and then chases out, which for a lot of us that have chip shots in and around the green, it's going to be way easier to hit it with this club than it would be to try to hit it with a standard 54, 58 degree wedge. You're going to see a lot more forgiveness with this. Another thing I noticed was how upright the club was. So if you guys know anything about lofts and lies, you know that if you're laying the club a little bit flat, it means that you're basically increasing the angle between the shaft and the club head. If you get the club upright, that means you're really standing up that shaft. A perfectly upright club would be coming in at a 90-degree angle. This one's pretty close. We don't have a lie loft machine with us, but this thing immediately I noticed when I took a standard wedge stance with it, that the toe of the club was just sticking off the ground because it's built to be so upright. It's built to be a balanced chipper. It's not built to be anything else. And that was another thing that kind of caught me off guard. I was kind of thinking we'd be getting a wedge here where I was like, it'll be interesting to see how this thing performs. When we hit the XE1, when we hit the C3i, we noticed that we could actually get out there and hit a 70-yard shot, 80-yard shot. This club, you're not hitting any 80-yard shots with this club. I would say, we looked at some of the marketing and some of the things that they were saying online. They're really saying 40 yards is about the maximum you want to hit this club. And after testing it out, I would totally agree. I would say Phil Mickelson would not like having this club in his bag. He would have absolutely no ability to hit that Phil flop. But when I hit this thing, and I hit it from 40 yards, I felt like Bryson DeChambeau almost. That thing was up, straight on a line, and came straight back down in the exact same line. If you try to hit this club any further than about 40 yards, where you're taking it any more than about halfway back, you're really going to start to see some issues. The club is just too upright, it's got too much mass, and it's just not built or designed to do that. Without diving too much into the golf swing, we know that we kind of swing the golf club sort of on a plane, on a round plane. and with a club that's this upright, you're gonna have some serious issues with the leading heel in the way that interacts with the turf. So this thing is designed for chipping, designed around the greens, in and around the greens, and maybe from 30 or 40 yards if you're just looking to advance the ball and get it up there to give yourself a chance at par or bogey. In talking about some of the versatilities of this club, I mean, yeah, sure, you hit it off a stock lie, you hit it off something in the fairway, you're gonna be able to get a reaction out of it, and you're gonna be able to do something pretty normal. But what happens on the golf course? We all know we don't get flat lies, easy lies, fairway chips all day long. We're hitting from thick rough, downhill lies, uphill lies. So we actually hit some shots off of some down slopes, couple shots off of some up slopes, couple shots out of some kind of like about as nasty of a lie as we could find out here without the grass being totally grown in. And the club performs. The club performs. If you're just looking to chip the ball, now if you're looking to have any sort of imagination, creativity where you want to work with like ball flights, you're going to really struggle to do that. But if you're looking to just advance the ball in a way that you're like, Troy, I'm sick of chunking my wedges. I'm sick of leaving the ball at my feet. I'm sick of not being able to, I'm sick of watching the ball skip across the green because I've bladed another one. This club's gonna help you a lot. The mantra is super simple. They want you to take a putting stroke with this. No hinge and hold, no chipping motions. You're not trying to do anything else. It is a simple, straight back, straight through. You wanna stand a little bit closer to the golf ball to compensate for that upright look. And you just want a nice and simple putting stroke. Straight back, straight through. The ball is gonna come out with a consistent flight. It's gonna check briefly, and it's gonna roll out the distance. So that's basically it. You'll notice some grooves across the bottom here. That's just designed to kind of reduce some of the friction between the, kind of the sole of the club and the ground. But otherwise, you're gonna notice a heavy, super balanced, weighted club, weight on the heel, weight on the toe, designed for stability, designed to help golfers be more consistent. And if you're struggling around the greens with a wedge and you've seen commercials for this Square Strike, I think you'll see a benefit. If you're a little bit of a lower handicap and you've played with wedges and you just wanted to mess around with this thing, you may have fun for a little bit, but it's just not going to give you the versatility that you need to hit higher shots, lower shots. But I'll tell you what, I did hit probably 50 or 60 chip shots with this thing. I didn't chunk a single one. So when they market the fact that it's an anti-chunk wedge and they've got this anti-chunk design, I didn't chunk one, so they must not be lying. So anyways, that's the Square Strike. If you guys want to learn more, if you guys have any more questions, hit us up below in the comments. We'll do our best to go through, and our team's kind of always working through those, and we'll answer those for you guys. If you guys like the video, feel free to hit like and give us some feedback. And finally, before you guys take off, feel free to bump that subscribe button. We're always posting videos, about 2 a week during the summer, sometimes even more, and we're putting some of the best golf instruction in the golf industry out there. So feel free to subscribe and learn everything we got going on. Have a good one.